So glad you're with us on this Wednesday afternoon. I'm Michael Aaron with meteorologist Nathan Scott over in the Weather Center. So it's really nice out there today, almost 60 degrees. But I think a lot of people have one thing on their mind.
And what would that be?
Snow.
Yeah. You're seeing it on social media. I'm sure you've seen it across Facebook and Twitter. We do have the potential. It's a small potential here in central Arkansas. I think a higher potential in the mountains. But right now, I'm saying it's possible here in central Arkansas. Here's where we stand, okay? When we look at forecasting snow in Arkansas, we're about 3 to 5 days out. This event is not happening until Saturday and into Saturday night. So we're watching what the models are producing. The storm system is still out in the Pacific, so until it reaches land, we don't have a good reading on this system necessarily. The confidence is low. Hopefully, I'm going to be out with a snowfall potential accumulation map by tomorrow. But we're talking about snow. It doesn't feel like January out there right now. Temperatures closing in on 60 degrees here in Little Rock, Hot Springs, and guess what? We will warm up into the low 60s out there this afternoon with plenty of sun, a great day to enjoy the outdoors, open up the windows before things get sloppy this weekend. I'll have more details on the potential system coming up.
All right, Nathan, COVID cases are still climbing as the Omicron variant continues to spread across Arkansas and the U.S. And we're really seeing its impact on our hospitalizations. More than 1,100 Arkansans are battling COVID-19 from a hospital this afternoon. That is 80 more than Monday. Let's take a look at case numbers now. More than 7,500 new infections were reported yesterday. It's not the biggest jump that we've seen, but it is close, and it's almost 1,000 more than we saw last Tuesday. These big jumps, they're having a major impact on our active cases. Almost 65,000 people are currently dealing with COVID in Arkansas. That's double the number we had just a week ago. Fortunately, more tools to help stop the spread are here, with more on the way. The state received nearly 400,000 more at-home COVID tests overnight. It's a fraction of the 1.5 million that will be available for free across the state. All Arkansans are eligible for the free kits. Each of them comes with 2 tests inside, so individuals can have 1 kit per day. That's 2 tests. Families can get 3 kits per day or 6 tests. All of this is running on the honor system. The state Secretary of Health has a message for those testing at home.
It's important to note that if you have symptoms and a test very early, you need to follow that with a second test. That's why individuals that are coming in are being given 2 tests, 6 tests for a family. Make sure that you double up on that and double check yourself a day or 2 later to make sure you haven't become positive. Use your mask until then.
Here's a map of the current distribution sites across the state. They're located in all 75 counties and include libraries, local health units, churches, and other community partners. So this is kind of that zoomed out view that just gives you an idea of all the places those sites are. But we have an interactive version on the homepage of thv-at-noon.com. Just click on this story. You can zoom in and find the one nearest you. That story also helps answer some frequently asked questions. The Biden administration says that it's taking steps to help schools stay open during this record-setting surge. Skylar Henry reports from Capitol Hill.
The White House announced it's shipping 10 million free rapid COVID tests to schools each month.
You're going to see distribution of tests as early as next week to make sure that our schools can stay open.
The announcement is part of the government's test to stay recommendations for schools to reduce quarantines for those who had close contact with a confirmed COVID-19 case.
These 10 million additional tests available each month will allow schools to double the volume of testing they were performing in November.
Nearly 5,400 schools reported disruptions to in-class learning last week. Midweek this week, that number is already over 3,000. The Biden administration is also finalizing plans to ship 500 million free rapid COVID tests directly to Americans' homes. This comes as Omicron is sweeping the country. And Dr. Anthony Fauci saying the variant will infect just about everybody, regardless of vaccination status.
I want to underscore the importance that the up-to-date COVID-19 vaccination with boosters prevents severe disease and keeps you out of the hospital.
The U.S. set a new record with more than 1.4 million new COVID cases Monday. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
A big focus of Governor Hutchinson's COVID update on Tuesday, keeping schools open. The push comes as many Central Arkansas kids return to campus after several days of virtual learning. North Little Rock is taking a phased-in approach to that return to class. The district is letting parents decide if they want their child learning in person or virtually. Cabot, Pine Bluff, and Whitehall schools are now virtual for the rest of the week. The Lone Oak School District will shift online starting tomorrow. Most of the Little Rock School District returns to in-person instruction today, but some campuses will continue to be virtual until further notice. You can find the full list on the LRSD's website. Kids within the Pulaski County Special School District are back on campus as well. The school board met and decided that wearing masks will remain optional for students and staff. Another group is asking the governor for financial help. Members of the Arkansas Ambulance Association met with Governor Hutchinson to discuss issues they're facing. They say staffing shortages have plagued the industry since before the pandemic, and it has only made things worse, the pandemic, over the last 2 years. Right now, just 42% of all active licensed professionals in the state are working. This is why the group met with the governor to discuss the new $90 million proposal to receive funds from the American Rescue Plan. Federal money they say EMS has received less than 1% of.
Many communities have already stepped up and done locally all that they can do through subsidies and through tax incentives or tax-based funding in their local communities, and they're tapped out as well.
The two-phased proposal would not only help the current COVID crisis, but aims to also repair the long-standing workforce shortage. Kelly, who you heard from there, says they're hopeful they could get some relief soon, but he's unsure when the governor could approve the proposal. Let's turn now to an upcoming showdown in the Senate over voting rights. President Joe Biden says it's time for senators to declare which side of history they're on. His trip to Atlanta yesterday signaled an all-out lobbying effort to make voting easier. While Republicans are calling it a power grab, there are some Democrats standing in the way. Nancy Cordes has the latest from the White House.
I'm tired of being quiet.
A fiery President Biden called this a defining moment in history. And after visiting the grave of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he argued the democratic system itself is at stake.
The goal of the former president and his allies is to disenfranchise anyone who votes against them. Simple as that. They'll just decide what they want and then do it.
He was talking about the laws passed in 19 states imposing new restrictions on voting. The president and most Democrats want to pass a pair of federal laws that would mandate early voting and vote by mail in all 50 states and make Election Day a national holiday. But Republicans are opposed. In a turnaround, President Biden called for changing the Senate's filibuster rules so it can pass voting rights bills with a simple majority.
We have no option but to change the Senate rules.
As recently as last year, the president was warning against changing the rules.
You're going to throw the entire Congress into chaos and nothing will get done.
Senate Republicans slammed his new stance.
I expected more of President Biden.
This power grab is not about voting rights. Instead, is it about advancing one party's agenda?
And even a few Senate Democrats, like West Virginia's Joe Manchin, appear poised to block a rule change.
Getting rid of the filibuster doesn't make it work better.
On Tuesday, President Biden compared voting rights opponents to segregationists and Confederate leaders.
Do you want to be the side of Abraham Lincoln or Jefferson Davis? This is the moment to decide.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is vowing to hold votes on this pair of voting rights bills before next Monday. That is the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. If only, he says, to prove to Democratic holdouts that there is no way to pass those bills unless they change the filibuster rules. Nancy Cordes, CBS News, the White House.
New at noon, big news today from the Arkansas Symphony Orchestra. A new performance hall is in the works for downtown Little Rock. In a musical announcement this morning, the Symphony showed off its plans for the Stella Boyle Smith Music Center. The 20,000 square foot facility will be located in the East Village near Heifer International and the Clinton Library, and it will be a centralized home for symphony performances, rehearsals, and classes. The ASO says this major project is a long time coming.
And this location is gorgeous. You're right on the river. I feel like there's nothing but good to come from this.
When this building's built, all bets are off because the creative juices will truly be flowing then, that's for sure.
Tonight on THV 11 News at 5, we share more about the construction timeline for the new performance hall and hear from the young musicians excited to see it built. Looking to declutter in 2022? There's a movement that's helping people get rid of their old stuff by connecting them with their neighbors. More on the trend coming up after Nathan's forecast.
Pleasant weather for today and tomorrow, but then we'll have the chance of wintry weather for parts of the state going to the first half of the weekend. I'll let you know who has the best chance and how much and what kind of precipitation we could see next.